Today's story, which I did not know this. So he relates as follows. As is known, the Rebbe would give his lulav and esrog to the Chassidim to make a bracha over it each morning of Sukkot. And just derechak, before we go further, we all know this, that first day Yontef, Tavshin and Beis, what happened was that in the early years, the Rebbe himself would give it. I forgot, maybe Chaim would know when it stopped. It just became physically impossible, the great numbers of people. And the Rebbe gave it to Meir Harlig. And Meir Harlig would stand there in the sukkah. You remember making a bracha on it? Everybody would stand in the sukkah and make a bracha on it. That stopped like in the 50s already. But then in 1992, you know the story, 1992, the first day Sukkot, everybody's utter shock and amazement. The Rebbe is standing in the sukkah and the lulav and esrog for each person that passes by. This was for I don't know how many hours. They ended up davening 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Of course, nobody understood. Yes, in the sukkah, made a bracha, next person, sure. That was, I think maybe he sat, and he was standing. He sat, he was standing. I wasn't there. It just was shockwaves around the world. Of course, in retrospect, this was the last sukkahs. The Rebbe himself looking every chassid in the eye and made a bracha. And there's midrashim and that. Anyway, Al Kaponim, that was in 1992. What many don't know is how this came about. And this whole thing,
1991.
What? 1991.
19.
No, I'm sorry, not yet, not Shinun Aleph. Chaim, so what time were they davening? You were there, Mr. What time was, no, maybe you weren't. You remember what time Shachris was? In 4 o'clock in the afternoon it started.
All late. I don't know. I don't remember. I wasn't there. I don't know.
I think that was standing. I think you were standing for the entire time, looking every chassid in the eye. So how did it all begin? So it all began with Zalman Duchman. Yeah, this fella. Zalman Duchman. What's the story? It was 1951, Sukkot, the first Sukkot, the Rebbe's Rebbe. The first Tishrei, the Rebbe formally accepted the Nesias. So in the morning, the first day of Sukkot, Rabbi Zalman Duchman approaches the Rebbe. He was a unique relationship and a very wonderful man. And he said to the Rebbe, in Leningrad, Russia, the Daled Minim were hard to get. And we would make the bracha over the Rebbe, meaning the Frierdiker Rebbe's lulav and esrog. And therefore ask you permission to continue this practice and to be given such a schus. He adds in brackets that in Rostov, earlier, before 1920, Reb Zalman had also made a bracha on Rebbe Rashab's lulav. The Rebbe agreed, and Reb Zalman was delighted. Not one to keep his excitement to himself, Reb Zalman told his fellow Chassidim, and they asked to be given the same opportunity. Permission was granted, and this evolved into the standard practice of Chassidim using the Rebbe's very own lulav and esrog each year. When I came already in 1976, and then they came back to 77, the years that followed, the lines were for hours, and they made a system. You came early enough, you got a number, and you knew approximately what time to come, and you made a bracha on the Rebbe's lulav and esrog. For many guys, it was straight from the Fabrengen, Chassidim Fabrengen, maybe to go to the mikveh and then make a bracha. In those days, this was before the days of Simchas Beis She'eva, dancing all night. That started in 1981. Before that, what characterized Sukkot in Lubavitch was Fabrengens every night. That's how it all began. This is consistent with the Rebbe's whole desire that things should come from the people, from below to above. Friends, have a wonderful day. So we'll see you Be'ez Hashem tonight by the Fabrengen.